Hello, my name is Avery. My hair is wet. The lighting is the worst ever. And this is my TBR shelf. Today, I'll be doing another tag because why not? They're easy to do and I find them enjoyable to watch. So that is the content that I am looking to create. Something that is enjoyable for me to watch. Also, I know my hair looks gross. It's wet, so it's in a ponytail. Okay, so this is the TBR tag, if you can't tell because of my TBR shelf. The first one is one you have not finished. For this I have We Were Never Here by Jennifer Gilmore. I got over halfway. This book is so bad. I think I'm never finishing this book. This book doesn't deserve to be finished. I thought it was going to be good. I never read any reviews before I bought it, and then I started to read it because I did like oh, I need to read books that I've had forever, and this book is trash in it. I didn't finish it. It's just the most boring book. The character is boring. All the characters are boring, and it's not even that they are unlikable, which they are, but like they're boring too. Like they don't have any depth. Number 2, a TBR book you haven't read because you haven't had the time for it. I have a lot of these actually. The 1000th Floor by Catherine McGee. I haven't had the time for it. I bought it like as soon as I started hearing about it because it sounded so interesting. And that's why it's hardcover, because I normally don't buy hardcover. But like I haven't read it, and it came out in when, like 2016? I don't know. When did it come out? Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I don't think I've even looked at it. Whatever. This came out like, yeah, 2016. 2016. And I was so excited to read it. I haven't read it. It's 2018. And also, The Road by Cormac McCarthy. This book I know is like deep and like deep, so I know I'm definitely like not ready to read it, and I don't have the time to read this book to the best of like my ability in reading it. Number 3, that was a 2 at first, but then it was a 3. You haven't read it, a book you haven't read because it's a sequel, and for most people it'd be because they didn't like the first book or they're afraid of ruining the first book, but for me it's just because it's a sequel. And before I used to have a thing where I couldn't read like things right after each other, so I wouldn't, but then I lost this book so I never was able to, and that's The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh, the second book in the Wrath and the Dawn duology. It's a duology, yeah. But I just haven't had the time to read it. I mean, that also goes with the time, but I lost it and then I couldn't read it, and now I feel like I should reread the first one because I haven't read it since 2016. So I mean, I remember how that one ended because it was such a good book, like it stuck, but it's a sequel and I feel like I should really reread the first one. And I guess going along with that, the Always and Forever Laura Jean by Jenny Han, I haven't read because it's a sequel, because I feel like I need to reread the other 2 because I read them so long ago compared to like that one. Number 4, I haven't read it because it's brand new. The brand new to me book that I haven't read because it's brand new to me is Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart. This was the Owl Crate book for August, and I got it yesterday. Wait, 2 days ago. So I haven't read it because I got it 2 days ago. 5, you've read and disliked the author before, so you won't read their next book or another book by them. You know, I'm gonna flip this question around because I can't think of any, because I like most books that I read. But I'm gonna go with a book that I really liked the author of before, and I'm afraid to read their next book so that they like in case they become not a good author to me. I guess that's what I'm doing because I don't have an answer for that. And that's Ida B by Catherine Hannigan. I read True Sort of by her, and that book was so good. That book was like a masterpiece, and that was her like newest book, I'm pretty sure. So, and I think this is her like first book or something like that. So I have a feeling if I read this, then I'll get like kind of a, this is an older thing, so of course it's gonna be less, not as good probably, but also it's like a middle grade book that everyone's read, or a lot of people have read and like pushed, and I'm pretty sure it's won some things. But like, I'm afraid to read it because I loved her other book. Oh yeah, if you haven't noticed, this is a rainbow behind me. Just that shelf because I'm organized. 6, a book you haven't read because you are not in the mood for it. That's easy because I was gonna start this book yesterday, but then I realized I'm not in the mood for a slow pace. Like the way the author writes, I'm not in the mood for her writing. And that's I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. Her writing's really good. It's just that it takes me a little bit to get immersed into it. And I'm not in the mood for something that I know is going to be like that's pretty thick and tall, and I'm not ready for it, and I'm not in the mood for it, and yeah. Number 7, a book you haven't read yet because it's too darn big. And before this, if I had done this last week, it would have been Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, but I've read that. Good. So, a book that I haven't read because it is simply too big. I have 2. The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. It's huge for a contemporary. Why does a contemporary need to be this big and small font? I don't understand, but I'm going to read it because I know it's good. It's just that it's big for a contemporary. It's huge for a contemporary. Cress by Marissa Meyer. It's a very large book, and I didn't like the second one. So I'm very afraid to read this one. I read a little bit of this one before, and it was more interesting than the second one. But also, I haven't read this series in like years, so I don't know if I'd get all the like little things anymore. But I don't want to reread the first 2. Like I might be willing to reread Cinder, but Scarlet, no. A book you bought because of the cover. This isn't necessarily because of the cover, but because of the title. So, because I like titles that are like this and like ominous and stuff. That's My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman. I don't know what it's about. I bought it because I like the name and I recognize the author because he wrote A Man Called Ove, or Ove is how it's spelled. But yeah, I just finished A Man Called Ove and it was really good. So I'm excited to read another one of his books. To read it. The Most Intimidating Book. Wouldn't The Most Intimidating Book be like the biggest book? Oh, I know. The most intimidating book on my TBR is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Yep, most intimidating book. Okay, so that's it for the tag. You've now been introduced to my even more horrendous shelves, the my TBR shelves. Wow, okay. So yeah, my name is Avery, my hair is wet, and I like doing tag videos. So, bye.